All right, Jordan, we should be live, so we'll kick this off. Jim Fitzsimmons. Thanks for joining. Along with me here is Jordan Bean. I'll kick it over to Jordan here in a minute. Let me start off by saying we prefer to get questions. So if you've got comments, suggestions, feedbacks, whatever you got, that's what's going to make this better. Our goal here is to try to make this a little more interactive and get you the answers you're looking for. Or if you got suggestions or feedback for if you're a mentor now and you think, hey, why don't we do this? Or you got a different idea how we could do something differently. We would love to get that feedback as well, because we're always trying to improve the program. Our goal really is to try to get the best of the best in our trucks as a mentor, and that just makes our program so much more successful as we bring new drivers, into Swift and into the industry. And so, Jordan, I'll kick it over to you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jim. So my name is Jordan Bean. I'm a director of driver qualification. I've been with Swift 16 years, worked in various different roles, really enjoy, everything that I do. And one of the great roles I've been able to go into lately, last 3 years, I've been working with students, training, kind of the whole onboarding process. And one of the things we really wanted to touch base on was, as Jim said, the mentors, the program. We've got a lot of opportunity, as kind of the world, the economy, everything's kind of been a little bit wild the last year and a half, I'd say. We're starting to see some things kind of rolling back. We're seeing folks get back into the trucking world. We've got students, we've got mentors. We're really trying to develop the program. Something we're pretty excited about is we want to make sure. Jim hit it great. I think we want the best of the best folks out there training. We want to make sure that we give our students the best quality. And Swift isn't just a fly-by-night company. There's a reason we hit 50 plus years, and it's because I think the quality, and it's because of great mentors that we have out in the field today. And, hopefully we can talk to some of the folks who've been on the fence and maybe thinking about it. We want to go through some questions and see, vet some things out. Anybody who's been at Swift the last 3-4 plus years, you've seen quite a bit of change coming. And I think, I don't think that's going to slow down anytime soon. So Jim hit it perfectly. Anything that's in the program that's a question you're not sure about. The beautiful thing is I'm a very accessible guy. I've got teams, driver qualification teams at all the terminals. And we want you guys to bring in some of that feedback. Give us some ideas what you have or general questions. And so I think if you're good with it, Jim, let's just hit over to some of these questions.
Yep, let's get into them.
So looking here, I see one of the questions we got from John. He says, I'm a mentor. I'm on a dedicated account. Why don't I qualify for the extra bonuses other than the other mentors are getting? So the other thing I wanted to add to this is any question that we answer, if there's something more to be had, again, my name was Jordan Bean, you can reach me. If you call into the office, you can get me. I'm going to answer these as honest as I can. And some of them, if there's more to be had, let's have a phone call and let's talk it through. This is one of those ones I'd love to maybe speak to John. As far as I understand, John, anybody that's training is going to be eligible for the $100 a week when you have a student on your truck. You're going to be eligible for all miles the truck runs. And then when the student upgrades, one of the changes we made recently was there used to be a bonus for the students based at their 30,000 mile mark. That's been adjusted. So now the first 4 months they're solo, they're eligible for a student bonus based on the same thing our performance bonuses are on. And all of our mentors are going to be eligible for those. So I'm going to go on a limb here, John. And again, let's get together after this, but there is no bonus that you should not be eligible for. And so I definitely like to talk more about that and understand the situation. But anybody who trains at Swift's going to get the $100. They're going to get all the miles the truck runs, and then they're going to be eligible for those first 4 months, their students solo, to be hitting for those performance bonuses, the productivity, the fuel. So when you hit those things, all of our mentors are eligible for that.
Yeah, and if there is some dedicated fleet that somehow is excluded, then bring that up, because that's something we need to look at, because we're looking at adding mentors. We're not trying to throw challenge flags in there to make it less desirable for mentors and other lines of businesses to train where it makes sense, obviously.
We want the best of the best. We want the trainers that are the best training. And so we want to make sure, though, by offering that service, that you're well compensated. I mean, there is definitely a give and take to that. We don't want it to all be about the money, but we also want to make sure that if you're going to train and you're going to train high quality students, you should be compensated for it. And so that's definitely something we want to look into. So I hope I answered that, John. Another question here. We got Billy Jack. He says, how about bringing back the owner-op mentors?
Yeah, I'll take that one, Jordan. That one's a little confusing. So we do have owner-op mentors, but the ones we do have are grandfathered in. And so due to legal reasons, we're not able to have owner-operators become mentors. But if you were already an owner-operator, you were already a mentor, we were able to grandfather those owner operators in. So I feel like there's always a lot of confusion when a company driver goes to an owner op on why they can't become a mentor or they can't remain a mentor. But it's because if you weren't grandfathered in when we made that change, we're not able to make that change, unfortunately.
Yeah. So hopefully that answers that one there, Billy. Tim Humble. I hear they are improving the training for students before they get to the mentor. What steps are being taken? So Tim, I feel like you set this one right up there for me, like softball game. So there is something really cool coming down. We are starting something that was implemented over at night, and we're bringing it over to Swift, and it's called Top Gun. And so I don't know if you guys are hearing the theme song in your head the way I do, but every time I hear it, music starts playing. So the cool thing is the Top Gun, just to give the high-low of it, it's something that we're putting out there from our company. We want to take, the idea is to take our academy graduates, put them in a week-long program that takes simulator. It's a road course that's a set road course in the back of our yard, and then it's going to be online learning. So it's going to be those three pieces combined with an instructor, with a certain instructor to class ratio, so that when you get kind of that hyper-focused training, you're really dialed in, and it's for 1 week, you stay in a truck, you're really kind of submerged in the lifestyle, and they go through all these things, and it's really focused on some of your backing, on trucking knowledge. There's so many different aspects, but it's a solid week of just really great training. And then what we're doing is we're bringing them out, and we're putting them on with mentors, and it's going to be a little bit less of the training program today is 200 behind the wheel hours. This one expedites it. You do that 1 week with that training in Top Gun, and then you have a smaller amount of time that you go out with a mentor. Now that's subject student by student. We don't want to, it's not a flat, nothing for anybody who's been at Swift a while. Rules, I don't want to say rules are out the window, because if for safety purposes, rules are always there. But all these rules and guidelines around general productivity, general stuff that we do around like home time, training, all those things, we're using common sense. We're making good decisions, put safe, capable, competent drivers on the road. And so if somebody comes out and they need a little bit more time, they can definitely, they'll work with the DQ team to get the appropriate training. But the idea is that 1 week of Top Gun training will give them a more elevated training experience with their mentor, thus getting them out in their own truck, again, safer, more capable, and available to do the job as a solo driver.
Yeah, let me just add, so if you've been around for a long time, say, 5+ years, and you've been in our simulators in the olden days, the simulators we're using for the Top Gun program aren't the simulators from, say, 10 years ago. And so these are a much more enhanced simulator, much more realistic. And so what we found is the results from these simulators emulates being out on the road. And so that's how we're able to cut a bunch of the training down by using the simulators.
Yeah, these definitely are much nicer. I mean, it's really cool. They've been able to dial in the actual training platform. So we have a section in the yard with some backing maneuvers, very tight backing maneuvers too. And they've been able to actually graph that into the module and the simulator. And it's pretty sharp. I've been able to do it. It's actually a lot of fun to do. So then let me see our next question here from Wally. Do you have some kind of way to improve your mentors? So that's a pretty open question, Wally. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I can be a little long-winded in my answers. So I'll try to keep it a little bit tight. Again, I've been in the team about 3 years. We've seen a lot of opportunity. I think we ran a really good program. We've done a lot of great things at Swift. One of the things, though, I think that we know we want to do better at is progressive learning and continuous training. So one of the things we're working on is we're working to improve the entire training experience, the training packet, really update and bring that into the new age, digitize a lot of that. But then in conjunction with that, we think our mentors, we don't want to burden you with more classes and more, teachings per se, because you're getting that with some of the performance bonuses is tying in learning objectives. But we do think that there's an opportunity to do some more with our Swift University, do more with our online learning to kind of keep you current and keep you fresh as far as some of the things that have changed within Swift. I mean, again, so much has changed in the last just year that we really want to make sure that you guys are up to date with a lot of the current stuff. I remember a couple of times hearing mentors tell me they were frustrated because they heard stuff through their students and new things, new changes. They go through the orientation, which has a lot of the newer information, and they tend to hear it through their students, which is not ideal. And it's not the way we want you to hear it. And so I think hopefully what you're asking is, is there a way to improve the mentors? We hope some continuous learning is going to help with that. I also think, One of the things that I've been really proud of is when we talk to our safety team, they're saying that the numbers we're hitting over the last, I want to say it was about 2 years, you've steadily seen a huge increase as far as our good safety numbers around mentors and students, like to numbers that we've never achieved before. And I think that really comes into play with making sure we have the right people training our students. They're training them with the right attitude, the right mindset, and they're putting good, safe people in trucks versus just, we don't want anybody training. Some folks, if training's not for you, hey, more power to you. I respect you for that. Be honest with yourself. But I'm telling you, there's definitely an opportunity. I think we've got a lot of great drivers out there that would make excellent trainers. And so the whole objective is to try to make sure that the right folks are definitely training.
Yeah, and on that, Jordan, let's talk about, we made a change recently, maybe a few weeks ago, where, I think over the years, I've been here for a long time. There's been drivers for as long as I can remember that didn't want to be a mentor because they just didn't want to get in the bunk while the student is driving. And so I can understand that. I've got, 3 teenage kids. I've had to teach them how to drive, and I wouldn't feel comfortable laying down in the backseat. I can tell you that much, while I'm teaching them how to drive. But you want to talk a little bit about the changes we made in regards to the mileage and the bonus so that, a mentor, if you don't want to, you never have to get in the bunk while a student's driving, and you're not going to be penalized on your bonus because of that.
Yeah. I think a great change that we've made. So this goes back to what Jim said at the very beginning, guys. We're constantly evolving and we're constantly making changes. Don't assume that we know it all. There's sometimes you get bombarded with information and sometimes things get missed, but I promise you, our efforts are true north directional. We want to make sure we're taking care of our mentors and our drivers. And that's one of the things I think that we heard a lot of concerns from mentors that, the requirements on the mileage force them to operate more as a team versus as a mentor. And that's not the direction we want people to feel. And so what Jim is saying is our performance bonus mileage has been shifted to it looks just like the solo driver. So we're right in line with the solo driver, which means you legitimately can have a student on your truck. You can make the $100 a week for having a student on your truck, and you can sit in the passenger seat and they can drive exactly the way you would and run the exact same mileage you run. And you're still going to be eligible you run 40 weeks in a year, you're going to make $4,000 just for letting somebody drive the truck for you. And you can sit right in the front seat with them. You never have to sleep while somebody's driving your truck. And then you're still eligible for all the available bonuses. There's still an upside to that. Now, we don't encourage team driving, but super solo, there's definitely an opportunity if you do have someone drive your truck. New drivers, it's really difficult to operate the way that a lot of you seasoned guys can do. It's not easy. I think people misunderestimate how easy driving is. So if they put in, 6-7 hours and there's still a couple hours available and you want to flip seats and you want to finish a couple more out, you might find you can add a couple hundred, 400 or 500 miles in a week. And that mileage is going to go right to you also because every mile the truck runs, the mentor's paid. So those little tweaks, it may not feel like it's a lot, but 500 extra miles plus the pay per week plus the bonuses. I mean, you're looking at a potential $300 to $600 a week bonus or additional in your pay. That again, it's not about the money, but it doesn't hurt when you're doing an extra service. We want to make sure that you feel respected and you feel compensated for it. So I think that's one of the big changes that's really hopefully drives some people to say, maybe let me check it out. Is there an opportunity to be had here? And I definitely think there is. And again, it's about the right people, teaching people how not to just be steering wheel holders. I think I saw somebody here wrote one of the comments said that they're teaching them to be steering wheel holders. That's not the agenda. We want to make sure you're having a great training experience. The DQ team checks in each week. We want to make sure that you're getting trained. So when you get out of the truck, again, it's about being safe, capable, conscientious. We want to make sure that you're able to run a truck as a solo driver in a way that you can be proud of and be safe in, so you get to that most important stop at the house.
Yeah, and on that question, the question was from Kevin, and he was asking, why do we take students from CDL schools other than Swift Academies? Two of the last 3 students that he had basically were steering wheel holders, and so the only reason we do that, I mean, ideally, we would love to just take nothing except Swift Academy, but the problem is the pipeline used to be like this, and it's like this. And so when you think about today, you got the, enhanced unemployment is making it very, very difficult to hire drivers, really anything, any industry you look at. I don't care where you go these days, there's now hiring. And so there's just a lot going on right now, and so our pipeline really has got shrank down to hardly anything. And so because of that, we're also going to outside schools to bring drivers in. Now, if we get feedback that we hired somebody that came through a third-party school and they literally were taught nothing, please bring that up, because we'll go back to those schools, because trust me, they're not giving those drivers to us for free. We're paying a fee to get those drivers. They should be properly trained, just like if they were coming through a Swift Academy. Now, the difference, obviously, the Swift Academy, we've got control of that, and so we can make sure we've got really good processes in place that when the student comes through the academy, they know what they're doing. They go out the mentor, spend 4, 5, 6 weeks, and boom, they're ready to go.
Right. And I also have to tell you, I know that maybe you're struggling with some of the outside schools, but one of the things that I'm confident in, we have great mentors. Again, our accident percentages in students has gone so low that I actually got myself a nice personal call from Dave Tillman. A little shout out to Dave. It's nice to hear from the safety team when they're telling you good stuff. So I was very proud. I'm very happy where we are in our training program. We still want to continue to get better, but it is nice to know that our students are really doing fantastic when it comes to accidents. And so even with some folks who maybe are a little underdeveloped from outside schools, I really do feel confident that a lot of our mentors are at that high level that we're getting the kind of training that we can make these folks really safe and capable people. I did see a comment in here. Robert put, mentors only get paid for 75% of all miles run for the week. Robert, my name is Jordan Bean. You probably want to give me a shout. Try to get a hold of me, or I'll see if I can't find your information from this. That's not the case. And enlighten me if there's something I'm missing. But I've been doing this a while. I'm pretty sure they're getting all the miles the truck runs, the mentor's paid. And so that's definitely the case. If there's something that you're seeing differently, then I definitely need to look into that. That's not the case. I also see the Swift owns CDL training school. So I don't want to misspeak. I don't know if owns the right word. I do think we have CDL schools. I mean, we have 13 academies across the country. And would that be owner of the school?
Yeah, I think that's probably what they're referring to. So yeah, we would own those. So
I definitely, that's a thing, guys. There's a lot of talk about us being a mega carrier, and we definitely are. I mean, we're the biggest carrier out there. But I think what you get is so much more. I mean, there's just to have the ability to have academies like that, to produce students to what Jim said, that are very, very well trained. They have a lot of time in seat. They're really going through a program that puts them in a best position to then be able to transition to our mentor program and train with our mentors, and then to be able to get into a truck. I feel very confident. Those are some fantastic drivers that we bring on that end up having fantastic careers, really doing well in the organization.
Definitely.
Let me see one more here. So we got Wally again. I had a bad experience with a Swift mentor. He didn't give me any information about how to control my truck driving up and down, depending on my personal small car. Oh, he was depending on his personal small car driving. I imagine he's saying he had to rely on his previous, regular driving experience. Wally, hey, listen, I can't tell you. I'd love to tell you every single experience is going to be fantastic. I hope everybody understands. I use the analogy in our live broadcast. Jim and I get to do a call with our new hires, and I always make the joke, there's jerks in everything that you do. There's the kid that puts the milk on top of the bread at the grocery store. It's just, there's those people, unfortunately, that just don't have the right attitude. They don't have the right mindset. And that's where I think as a company, we're getting better. One of the things we want to do is we want to get the right people in the right seat, but we want to be quick to recognize the wrong people in the seat too. So if there's people that are training that shouldn't, we just need to understand. The driver qualification team works right with our students hand in hand throughout the process. If there's a problem, let them know. And I promise you, we're taking a very serious look at all those. We want to make sure the experience, it's supposed to be fun. You're transferring into a new career. You're starting a new career. We want to make sure you're having a good experience. You also need to come out trained. And so if we're not meeting that expectation, we need to know so that we can make sure we go backwards and we look at the mentor, we look at what's going on. And if there's a coaching opportunity, everybody deserves a second chance. But if there's a theme there, then maybe that's somebody that either doesn't need to train or worse. But we want to take a good, honest look at that. And we're using common sense, guys. This isn't there's not a rule we have to follow. Every unique situation is going to get its own view, and we're going to make a decision that's best for the company, for our drivers, for everybody involved.
Yep. Hey, Jordan, there's a question here that I don't know the answer to, but if we don't do this, I feel like we need to make a change and start doing this. But Tim Humble asked the question, what happens with million-mile trucks once a team or mentor racks up miles on it? Does it get pulled out for a year or two? Does the team or mentor get another million-mile truck? What's the plan? I don't know if we have a plan because the million-mile truck program is so new. I don't know that we probably have got to the point where we've had to, pull somebody out of one because we're getting too many miles on it. But here's what I would tell you. I think the plan needs to be, and if it's not, we'll get this in place, that if you put too many miles on your truck because you're a mentor or you're a team, then we'll get you another truck where you get to pick the color out, go through the whole process of ordering the truck that you want. And so that's a great question. I don't know that I've seen that or heard it discussed, but it might not have come up yet is why.
Yeah, if we were playing that game, who wants to drive a million-mile truck? Will we phone a friend? Could we call Ken McBee?
Yeah.
So that's a call out, Ken. I hope you're watching this. We need the answer to that. All right, we got another question in here. Can an experienced driver be hired as a mentor? If not, how long before I can qualify? That's a great one. So the qualifications, the qualifications are for an experienced hire. If you're hired onto Swift with an previous experience, you got to give us at least 30 days. And now that's again, we don't operate on basic rules. We operate on good, on good judgment. So you got to give us at least 30 days. And then in that 30 days, your terminal leader, you got to make connections. Part of transportation in general, part of, I think, being successful in anything you do is that communication. And so the big thing is you got to have communication with your terminal leader, let them know that's something you're interested in doing. And then once you hit your 30-day mark, the terminal leader can approve your application. The safety leader is going to look at what you gave us for that 30 days of driving. And then once we approve those things, we'll be able to get you into the program and have you start training. And so that's what it is if you come in as an experienced hire. Now, if you're coming to Swift as a student, you got to have at least 9 months of experience. You got to have the right, again, same as the other folks, you have to have the right safety scores, the right, communicate with the terminals. But you also have to have, in that 9 months of experience, we ask that you have at least 3 months of winter driving. It's really difficult to have somebody training somebody if they haven't experienced it themselves. So we really, again, this is an effort to make sure we got the right people training. And anybody who's been driving a while can tell you, it says 9 months, but guys, if you're at 10 years, you're still learning. There's still things that you're encountering. There's still, and they say one of the best ways to learn is to train. I think by training, you're going to be learning yourself. As a mentor, a lot of our folks are growing as far as being leaders, as far as, working with different folks. I think there's a lot of opportunity to continue your learning when you become a mentor. But the basic requirements are the safety scores, the time in seat, and to make sure that, you're able to produce good, safe students. You see here, I think we might have answered all the questions here, Jim. Or no, wait.
You roll down. There's a couple more I've seen come in. Like, as a mentor, what is the pay and bonus? Also, do we get a new truck?
So to get a new truck I wouldn't say you can get a new truck if you become a mentor, but I definitely, goes back to that communication thing. If you're interested in becoming a mentor we're a business. We have trucks. We want to make sure that we're running the trucks efficiently. If you have a truck with a little higher mileage and you're going to be running with a student, then it may make sense for us to get you in a newer truck. And if there's trucks available, which today's world there are, then you just got to work with your terminal leadership. Again, it's about making good decisions. We want to support our drivers. And if getting into another truck is something that would make sense and it would help you, then if we can make that accommodation, it's something you just work with your terminal leader. And I think we would make good decisions.
I was going to say, I would guarantee you right now, if you're a good driver and you're on the fence on being a mentor and you talk to your terminal leader, just throw that out there as your negotiating chip that you'll do it if you can get a new truck. I guarantee you, they'll figure out how to get you in a new truck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now, new trucks are hard to get because the whole microchip shortage. And so we're not getting the new trucks in like we should, but that'll catch back up eventually.
Absolutely, no doubt. And so I think I missed the beginning piece of that. I'm sorry. What is the pay and the bonus? So again, the pay, just the high level of it. Any week that you have a student on the truck, you're going to get $100. And then any miles the truck runs. Again, I always use this as kind of a rough math. If you're running 2,200 miles as a solo driver, and then let's just say, hey, I want to sit with the student. I really want to spend the time up front. I really want to work with them. And let's just say you only put 500 to 800 miles more a week on, which again is not over a week. That's really just adding a couple here, a couple there. It's a trip, maybe 2 trips that you're adding. That you'll get all miles paid to the truck go to you. So that is a pretty substantial hit right there alone. Plus that 100, plus when they upgrade, our previous bonus plan was after 30,000 miles based on their rank, there was a bonus tied to that. We've adjusted that because we wanted to give you the love faster. And so one of the things we did is we adjusted it for the first 4 months. The student solo, they're going to get those, it's based right off the same productivity bonus that everyone else is catered to also. The productivity, the safety, and the fuel. And so if they hit their numbers on those 3 metrics, they're $50 each, you're up to $150 each month. So potential for $600 on a student. And if you train a student 1 month, and then you train a student right after the next month, and if you train a student the next month, I mean, being kind of a positive assumption guy, let's say you got 3 or 4 students that are out there operating solo within their first 4 months, there's a potential that you're going to earn, $1,500, $1,800 on student bonuses. So it's a really nice chance to earn some extra money. And again, I keep saying money, and I don't want to backtrack, but I do want you to know it's not about the money. We want trainers people who really enjoy working with new drivers, teaching, showing their skills. But I stand right by it. I really want to make sure those people know we love them, and we want you to be compensated, and we want you to know that we care about you. So I hope you guys take the money piece. It's not about the money game per se, but I think people who put in extra effort should be rewarded. And so I just want to make sure that's very clear. We want to show the love, which is why we're trying to sweeten this up a little bit. So I got a comment from Brian. Thanks for fixing the mileage bonus loophole. The mileage bonus loophole, the loophole's throwing me. I hope that's a positive comment.
I think you're referring to the where we got rid of the mentor for the bonus.
Right.
Went down to solo, but
I'm going to take it as a good one. So we're going to give Brian a good old thumbs up right there.
Dwayne Burton asked, I have a Class A, but no experience. What would my training time be at Swift?
A Class A. So you might fall into our modified training. So that's something that I would definitely recommend you reach out to a recruiter. I hope, talking to the back admins, if they got our recruiter number, they can shoot down there at the bottom. Boom, right there. Just check that out down there. Give a recruiter a call. Those guys are going to be able to go through all your information. They'll go through some of your work history. And if there's an opportunity to do a modified training, then that's something that they definitely can talk to you a little bit more about. And if that's the case, what you would do is you go through the hire process just like anyone else. And then you'd come on and you would go on with a mentor for an adjusted hours. And what happens is, just so everybody's aware, when you're done with those hours, you come in and you still have to do a road test. You still have to do a written test. You still got to turn in your training paperwork. And what that is that's kind of that's your pass. That's your upgrade pass, showing us that you're safe, you're capable, you're conscientious, you're somebody that we can feel confident is going to operate that truck safely. And again, for yourself too, because operating the truck safely isn't just about freight, and it's not about Swift, and it's not about any of that. It's about getting home. If you got kids, if you got a wife, if you got a whole slew of dogs, or maybe you have a motorcycle that you love like I do and you want to get home to it. The whole point of this being safe is to get you to your most important stop, to make sure that we all get where we're supposed to be. I see Neil Killian joined us. The amount of support for mentors is great as well. That's right. That's the whole plan, man. This whole thing, we actually got off a call just a little bit ago, Jim and I, and we were talking about one of the things it was really nice to hear a lot of upper level leaders, and we were talking about some things we need to work on. And one of the things was we got to show more love. I've said that for anybody who's known me longer than a year, that's kind of always been my thing. I joke a lot about it. I think people get confused seeing a big bearded guy talk about love, but I think, man, where we are as a company with Swift, you're feeling a lot more of that. We really are. Jim says it best. I'm totally going to steal it from him. We're a big company, but our terminals run like little independent companies. It's like little families. When you work with those people and you know a lot of the drivers at your terminal, you know everybody at the terminal, they really run like little families, little businesses. You have a much more family atmosphere. We put a lot of money into terminals and really trying to improve things. And I think one of the things I've been proud of with the DQ team is that we work with students. It's all about students, taking care of our drivers, making sure that they're well taken care of. If you come into a terminal, go to DQ, grab a snack, grab a drink. We want you to know that we're trying to operate on more of a support, love than ever before. We want you to know this is the place that's going to take care of you. It's not just a training company. We want to train them and retain them. We want people to come here for the long haul, because this is a company that you can definitely be successful at.
Yep. Hey, and if you work for Swift now and you don't have that relationship with your terminal or with your, if you're on site, if you're dedicated, get to know them. Start going in the office, start talking to people, ask for the terminal leader. Because trust me, they want to get to know you. And so if you don't have that relationship today, I would definitely encourage you to just kind of reach your hand out and make an introduction and get to know the people that are in that terminal.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, Jordan, I saw one here about what are the requirements for becoming a mentor. So I think we might have something we could pop up on that one as well, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so the mentor requirements, that one, again, it depends. There's various setups. So if you're an experienced hire coming in, you have to have at least 30 days. And then after that 30 days, we'll do an evaluation with your terminal leader and your safety leader. And then they'll determine, where we are and what is needed to become a mentor. For anybody who's new hired, you have to at least have 9 months from your solo day. You have to have a score under 20 on your Smart Drive score. You can't have any violations within the last 12 months. Or I'm sorry, no more than one violation within the last 12 months. And then 0 preventable crashes and no more than 1 minor crash in that 12-month period. In that 9 months of solo driving, we want 3 months of that to be within the winter time so that you have some winter driving experience so that you're a little more well-rounded. There was a question I saw here that I really don't want to miss. So Terry put on here, as a trainee driver right now with my mentor, I honestly think more real-world time with an experienced driver is key. Hey, Terry, the beautiful thing about Swift is we don't have no crazy rule. So if we have a guideline that we want you to run with a mentor for up to 200, 300 hours. It's kind of our bogey. That's where we want to see you. That's where we want to do an evaluation, see how things are going. But if you get to 200 hours and you're just like, man, I'd like another week. And hopefully I'm really enjoying my mentor. We really are clicking. This is just, they're teaching me a lot. And I really just think one more week would be beneficial for me. Bingo, go ahead. Like we want you to be safe. If you don't upgrade and feel confident in your abilities, then I'm not happy. If you're not happy, I'm not happy. And so the team is way more dynamic than before. We want to make sure everybody really understands it's about your safety and your abilities. So if you need a little bit extra, if you need a little bit more city driving, then we'll bring you in. We'll have you run around with somebody local that does some more city driving so you can get some more backing experience. We want to be flexible. There's not a one-size shoe that fits any of this. So we got to be able to operate in a way that we can meet the demands of whatever it is you need. And so I think that's one of the things. Oh, I like that. Owning your experience. Clever. We got some good IT, good marketing folks here. I like that.
Well, so, Jordan, we're at coming up to 33 minutes here. What do you want to close with?
I still got like 2.5 hours worth of talking.
I know. Yeah, I want you to take a breath. And whatever questions we didn't get to, we'll get those answered. So that's usually how we try to do these live streams, is whatever we can't hit. We try to keep these to no more than 30 minutes. We shoot for 20. That would go longer, but what we don't get answered, we'll get back to you.
Well, so I'll do a quick wrap up, which I lie, won't be that quick. Hey, I appreciate everybody out there. Anybody who's on the fence about mentoring or considering the idea, I would like to throw the challenge out. Give it a shot. Do it once, try it out, and then give us brutal, honest feedback. I'd love to hear it. We know we're not perfect. I'm not claiming to be perfect. I know that we're going to try to get better, though. I'm absolute on that. And so if you go out and give it a run and give us feedback, let us know what you think we can do better. We're constantly evolving, constantly trying to improve. Super motivated. I love what we're doing. I'm super excited about where we are. And I think there's only some great things coming in the future. And so thank you guys so much for your time today. I hope that you guys reach out to the DQ team, reach out to myself. We'd love to see you guys out there training. And please keep it safe. And thank you guys.
Thanks, everyone.